Welcome to Let Go, Let EFT, where we are learning and leaning in with you, with your hosts Michelle Puster and Dr. Laura Spiller. EFT is a beautiful model helping people connect with themselves and the people that matter the most, developed by Dr. Sue Johnson.
Hello.
Hi, Dr. Spiller. So what are we talking about today?
Hey, Michelle. Today we're going to talk about the difference between intent and impact and how common this is in all the cycles we see in our couples. The fusion of those two. If I'm hurt, you're bad.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hurt, I must be bad. I mean, how kind of intertwined and fused those concepts can be, those ways of experiencing the dance can be.
Right. Yes. So I'm trying to think of an example of, oh goodness. I'll use an example from a training where someone comes home and they got dinner and they got a burrito for themselves, and they got their partner a salad, and because the other day the partner mentioned, I really, I'm going to try to start eating more salads or something. And the partner, or better yet, the partner says, I don't want to eat out. So, just don't get me anything to eat. And so the partner's, comes home, the partner's eating a burrito, and then the partner has a big reaction. Like, you didn't get me anything, or you just got me this salad. Like, I want a real dinner, and the partner is trying really hard to be thoughtful and considerate and, listen, you said you didn't want to eat out. Okay. That's, but I wanted something, or you said you wanted this. And so here we have an intention was really remembering something they had said, trying hard to be thoughtful and considerate, but the impact, it just did not land well. And this might be a silly example, but I feel like these are the kinds of examples that we see every day.
Yes, you don't. I mean, when you think about when that raw spot is hit in those moments and the meaning, right? You don't think about me. You think I should lose weight.
Yikes, a whole other mess there.
Care about what matters to me. I mean, there's so many ways the cycle and our history fills in the blanks in those moments and makes meaning and adds to the pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when we're hearing about that, right, that rather often, the intention and the impact are so fused that the hurt partner is blaming and talking about you're bad because I'm hurt.
Right.
Or the dinner buying partner is defending immediately. So quick to go to, defending and explaining our intention when we had a good intention. We had a good intention.
Like, you told me you didn't want to eat out anymore. I don't know how you can't get mad at me. Essentially, you can't get mad at me. You can't be hurt because you told me you didn't want to eat out anymore.
You can't be hurt. Oh, I love that you added that, right? That is so much the message. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no, I don't want to hear it. I just bought myself dinner, and I was trying to remember what you said, and now you're going to be upset with me. Mm-hmm. So what do you feel like makes this hard for us as therapists?
I think it's just so automatic and it moves so fast. And there's so much sort of, everything's so intertwined that all we know is that suddenly it sparks this reactivity, quite a bit of reactivity. So I think we can be confused by that and have a difficulty seeing that emotional dance. We can get caught up in the content.
Yes, we might be really confused ourselves. Like, why are you so upset that they didn't get you the burrito? Or why are you getting so defensive? Like, they're just disappointed that you didn't get something for them. Like, we could be on either side, just sort of confused as to why this is like a level 10 fight when it's so when it's like, what is this really about? And I guess that's the question, right? What is this
Yeah.
really about? Because it's
Yeah.
not about the burrito.
Yeah.
It's really about something else. It's about something being triggered in the cycle. And yes, it moves fast.
Yeah. And I think I mean, I love that you said that. I think, that's a good question to ask yourself. What's it about? And I think it's about, right? Ultimately, it's not okay to experience hurt in some way, right? In the cycle, it's like, for the hurt partner, it's like, I can't feel this ouch without it being
Mhm.
something bad about my partner and our relationship.
Mhm.
And certainly for the good intentioned partner, I mean, it's like my partner can't feel this hurt without me having done something wrong.
Mhm.
I think, what one thing that we're trying to do with EFT is, I always go back to Sue Johnson's statement, you can't dance closely with someone without stepping on their toes.
Right.
We
Yeah.
are going to unintentionally cause discomfort. It's kind of like we were talking about in the yellow light, the kind of the normal status of a relationship. Sometimes there's a yellow light, right? There's a little bit of tenderness. Um,
Yes.
make space for that without the alarms going off and the defenses and the blaming coming up.
Right. And I think that's what's tricky for partners is that when somebody's raw spot gets hit and there's like a level 10 reaction and they're sitting there feeling like, what did I do that warrants this sort of huge reaction? And so then that's when people can get into like, you're overreacting, you're being crazy, I'm not going to talk to you when you get like this. And it almost gets lost, the fact that they actually feel really bad that they've
Mhm.
hurt their partner, because it looks like on the surface that they're like mad at their partner for being
Yes.
upset and they're blaming them, and they're having lots of judgments about their partner and their upsetness,
Yeah.
and I think what we maybe have to kind of assume is that that person probably feels really bad that their partner's hurt, even if nothing that they're saying or doing looks like they feel bad. Because often it doesn't. Often it looks like, oh, you're being ridiculous. What, I don't want to hear about this. Like, I was just eating dinner. I'm just sitting here eating, and all of a sudden you're mad at me.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. As the EFT therapist, we get to kind of have a sense of what's beneath the protection. And we know that when they're getting that defensive, that it really feels terrible to them to have caused their partner pain. And they don't want
Mhm.
that, and it sets off their alarm. And so we need to have a way to help slow that down.
Mhm.
And sometimes it can be hard also because I don't know about you, but sometimes I really wish my couples would do it differently when I know that they have that care for each other. And I know that underneath there's all these tender feelings. Sometimes I just want to say, can't you just see, the good intention behind the bringing you a salad? Or I want to say, oh, can't you just see, that she's or your partner's hurt and really just needs a little understanding right now. And if you could just be soft, then they would understand and they would, I mean, I want to like shake it up and change it. And I
Right.
think that's one
Yes.
of the challenges of this too, right? Because then they both get the message, do it differently. Your instincts are wrong.
Right. Yes. We can easily, like, we might be just lost in confusion. We might get stuck in the content. Let's make a plan about who brings home meals when, right?
I love that. Yeah, yes.
Or,
Just make sure you call your partner and ask them what they want to have for dinner,
right. We
which
can
is not a bad
solve this.
question, but it's, also not
It
going to help.
misses the point, right? Yeah, exactly. It misses all of these underlying things that are getting triggered. And yeah, I love what you were saying when we were planning for this about fused. Can you say more about when the hurt gets fused with the I'm bad? Because that was just
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah. I mean, one thing one strategy I use is just the phrase, intent and impact are totally different. Because so often it is, just inexplicably fused, this idea of like, if I hurt, you must be dangerous and bad. Right. Or for the hurting partner, it's like, if you're hurt, I'm bad. And it can start kind of that shame spiral that really fuels the defensiveness. So being able to kind of say your partner can be hurt, and you can have had a really good intention and be doing everything you can to be a good partner. You can feel hurt, and your partner absolutely can help you with that, can help you understand that. And they could have had a good intent, and they can be in pain and, sad that they hurt you. And if we can kind of slow down and let some of these processes be there, able to tell about the hurt, be able to respond about the hurt, then, if we can just slow it down and be in that, we don't have to fix it. We don't have to like prevent it. We can find some ways to be in this together.
Yeah. I love that idea of seeing how the fusion can like make it the reaction so quick. My partner's hurt, I'm bad, or my partner's doing something and so they're against me, or I'm too much. And can you share the example that you give them about the dog? Because I thought this was such a lovely way of helping our couples see, like, hold on, let's slow this impact versus intent thing down.
And I'll acknowledge that, like, when we're caught up in the cycle, it all moves so fast. And I know that this is really, there's a lot that you feel and a lot that happens, there's kind of the same thing when we step on our dog's tail. And I know it's less complicated, but we can just, slow it down here. When you step on your dog's tail, I mean, none of us mean to do that. Right. We don't have the intention to hurt the dog. We don't mean to hurt the dog, but we'll step on the dog's tail. And in that moment, when we don't have the cycle surrounding it, right, it's so easy to say, oh no, I stepped on your tail. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. Are you okay? And give the dog a little cuddle, some rubbies. And it's of course much easier with our dog because they love us and they forgive us very quickly. And they typically are not going to blame us for stepping on their tail. But there is that sense of being able to say, to kind of recognize, oh no, I hurt you and I didn't mean to hurt you and I care about you, and are you okay? That does kind of say, yes, you are hurt, even though I didn't intend to hurt you.
Yes.
And allows us to care for, our dog. Or we can probably do this with cats too. But when they're probably pretty fast, they don't get stepped on as much. But we can care even though we know we hurt them when it wasn't our intent.
Right.
That's a lot harder. So sometimes I will use that to kind of demonstrate what it could look like if you can come a little closer to the hurt, if you can, if you're not caught up with the pain of causing harm unintentionally.
Yes. So I'm thinking about like, an action step for this being one, like you said, just name it. I think this is a intent versus impact thing coming up here, and maybe giving them that example so that they can hear, so that they can kind of begin to zoom out and see like, oh, we're having this big reaction. Like maybe there's something more to it. And then for me, it is really helpful to have that assumption. The person who maybe is getting defensive and rolling their eyes and saying you're being ridiculous, or some small, like that's kind of like the worst case scenario. Maybe that's not quite so extreme, but it's like somewhere on that spectrum, that they don't like it when their partner's hurt. They don't like it when their partner's upset or upset with them. They don't like it when they are getting the message that they've done something to hurt their partner, because they don't want to hurt their partner. And
Yeah.
so I think that helps to just, I hear you saying, that you feel like they're being ridiculous. Can we just slow down with this for a second? Can you help me understand what is it like to hear that they're very upset about this, that they really felt hurt by it? Because I have this feeling, just having sat with you and getting to know you for a little bit, that you don't like it when your partner's hurt. You don't like it when they feel hurt, especially if it's by you, that actually really bothers you. So I hear you saying, ridiculous. And I'm just wondering, like, what else is there? Like, how is it to know that something you did hurt your partner when you're trying really hard to make your partner happy, to be in a good place with your partner, that's really important to you? And I think just sometimes them hearing, like, we see them as good, we see them trying,
Yes.
we see so many instances of them caring, that
Mhm.
then they start to feel maybe less like a monster bad guy and more like a human.
Yes, I love that. Right. You're able to kind of name both the intent and the impact and hold both kind of in a caring way, um, and help slow them down.
Yes.
Yeah. You're kind of naming that, right? Your intention is good. Your intention is to care about your partner's feelings. You do care. Right. And I can kind of, yeah, see that, wanting to, that frustration coming up there. Is there some, what else is there?
And similarly with the person who was hurt, like, I hear that you're really trying to communicate something to your partner. You really need them to know that you're hurt. And the more they sort of downplay it and dismiss it, the louder you get. And the more you try to get them to hear you and get where you're coming from. And I think it's so nice to be able to normalize, like, I feel like a pretty good indication to me personally is if I've had a raw spot hit, if my reaction is like a 10, but the situation is like a 2 or a 3, that's a pretty good indication to me that some kind of raw spot has been hit for me. And so there's a good reason that I'm upset. It's stirring up feelings from the past. It's stirring up like some kind of big feelings are getting hit for me. And that's why I'm struggling so much. And that's why I start to get, and then it really sucks because, we do that. The fusion for the other person, like you said, was the blame. I'm hurt, so it must be your fault, right? Like that.
Yeah. Yes. I'm hurt. You're bad. You're dangerous. You're the threat.
Right. Yes. I'm hurt. You're bad. You're dangerous. You're the threat. And I think if we can get closer to oh, you felt threatened.
Yeah.
Oh, what felt threatened? What felt unsafe? Oh, that you didn't matter. Your partner wasn't thinking about you, that when they're thinking about dinner and that you didn't even cross their mind. That's really scary to not have your partner be thinking about you and know that you're important to them. And that makes so much sense that you started to feel threatened. And when you feel threatened, it flips to blame. Just the way you said that. Can you repeat that again, Laura? I love the way that you put that.
Um, you know, I'm when I'm hurt, you mean that I'm hurt, you're bad, you're a threat, you're a danger, right? And that
Yes.
moment that the hurt is so automatically interpreted by the cycle in that way, and it makes sense. And especially it makes sense in a pattern or a cycle where it hasn't been easy to get care and comfort for the hurt,
Right.
right? Just like, you know, they've got a powerful blame and defend cycle. I mean, the defender never gets to feel like they're a good partner, and the blamer never gets to feel like they're important and cared for. Uh,
Right.
so it really does. It to hurt is alarming because there's no guarantee of getting care or comfort or responsiveness for that hurt in the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. That's a great point. And sometimes I will normalize that for couples and I will say, you're right. If you guys were in a good place and and you felt really connected in your relationship, this is something that might easily roll off your back. And you might be like, oh, my partner's forgetful, but I know they'll make me something because they, didn't get me a burrito or whatever. Or, oh, wow, they really were thinking of me and what I said the other day, but dang, that burrito looks good. I wish they had got me one. It just sort of rolls off your back, or vice versa. Like, my partner comes home and they like bite my head off because I didn't get them a burrito. Like, oh man, they must be having a really hard day. Like, hey babe, like you're struggling today. I'm here. Like, you want me to get you a beer? What do you need?
Yeah.
Just
You want
kind
half
of
my burrito?
yeah. Do you want yeah, I love that. Do you want half my burrito? Here you go. And if they were
That one's harder to do, though. I know that one's harder to do.
if you were in a, if the cycle hadn't been like dominating your relationship for so long, that stuff does roll off your back. So I will let couples know and normalize, hey, it's understandable that when the cycle has been up and running for so long, that these things, they do trigger stuff inside of us that they wouldn't otherwise. So it's not because you're too much. It's not because you're, careless or thoughtless.
Yeah.
The word. It's because the cycle has been just dominating for a little while, and we can do this differently. And I think it does help calm both people down when we can see each of them and where they're coming from.
Yeah, right. You had good intent, and it sucks that the impact was so painful, right?
Yes.
All right. Of course, this felt bad to you, and it would feel so much better if they would understand. And you're trying really hard to get that understanding, and it just seems like it's, you're not getting any closer to that. And I know that's really hard. It would feel better if they understood the impact,
Yes.
Um,
Yes. So I think that we are wrapping up for today. So hopefully you guys have a couple of good action items that you can take into your next session, where there's intent versus impact, and helping, slow down and do it differently. And we'd love to hear if there is like the stepping on the dog's tail example. If you guys have an example like that you use with your couples, or a way that you explain when you see intent versus impact coming up, or if this just, spurred some creativity, then share with us in the comments below, or let us know of any kind of videos that you'd like to see. And yeah, we'll be back again soon.
Thank you so much. This was fun. Looking forward to talking more about it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Bye-bye, everyone.